Capricorn. This is your monthly reading for July. Keep in mind that this is a general reading and this will not resonate for every single Capricorn out there. Cross-watchers, you are welcomed. Also keep in mind that the roles can be vice versa. Okay, let's get started. What is going on for my Capricorns for the month of July? What is happening for my Capricorns for the month of July? So it almost feels like my Capricorns are focusing on what's like balancing things out. It kind of feels like a lot of my Capricorns are focusing on what's fair and what's not fair. I'm wanting to balance themselves out as well when it comes to probably work, family. But there's something here that's kind of predominant. It's something just like something that you yourself want to balance yourself out too. All right. So we have the overall energy is the Six of Pentacles. We have the Five of Wands. We have the Ten of Cups. We have the Ace of Rods or Wands. The Ten of Swords. The King of Coins or the King of Pentacles. We have sorry, these are like new cards. The Fool. And we have the Page of Cups. So these are new cards. I'm really excited because I've wanted these for a while, but keep it like so. Give me a little bit to figure out. This is my first time using them, so this is going to be kind of fun. So already what I'm kind of sensing for a lot of my Capricorns is it kind of feels like for the month of July, you guys are going to be focusing on balancing something out. And this is something that, if you ask me, has a lot to do with things that would bring you emotional fulfillment. Because it almost senses that you want something like it's you no longer want to fight between the pain, like the emotion, like the physical pain or the mental pain and anguish, with emotional satisfaction. And you're kind of trying to work that out and balance it out. It's almost like what I'm kind of picking up is, you know what it's like when we do habits? Sometimes our habits are not good for us, but we'll continuously do it. It kind of feels like that. It's like you guys, for some of you guys, you might be wanting to change, like, oh, I want to start getting my life on track. So I got to stop eating junk food because I want to get healthy. So it's like, even though junk food brings me emotional satisfaction in the moment, you know, you're learning that it's causing you further pain in the long run. So for some of you guys, that's something that's coming to your mind is, wow, there's something that I am consistently doing because it might be a coping mechanism or something that can soothe me in the long run, but I mean, in the short term, but in the long run, I'm suffering because of it, because it's not really getting me to my end goal, what I really want to accomplish. So that's kind of another thing that makes you feel like you are not, like it's keeping you stuck from what you really want to do. And there's this emotional desire to really figure out what it is that my Capricorns really want for the month of July. You're kind of just focusing on little things like that. It feels like just because I'm satisfied in the moment doesn't mean that like it's like a temporary band-aids, like little fixes. But there's some things that you guys are afraid to really go out and try, and that's why I think it's easier to stay stuck in your little habits, because you're afraid to really go out there, because you feel like you don't trust yourself, that you feel like you don't have good judgment calls. Let's clarify the 6 of coins. Again, with that Page of Cups, it's important to you. There's some kind of emotional attachment that is like, so it's important to you specifically, because you put all, like, there's some things that's causing you pain, but you're wanting to release it because there's more to what you want. For some of you guys, you're done with the inner conflict with yourself. You could also be having a lot of external conflict, like with your work or your job or family and friends, just home alone. Like there could be things where there's just a lot of conflict in my Capricorn's lives, to where you're wanting to put an end to that, because that's where I think some of the pain lies with that 10 of Swords there. Because it almost just feels like you're not emotionally satisfied with where you're at, but you do things that keep you stuck, but only because it gives you relief at that moment, if that makes sense. So it's like, instead of dealing with the stress of work, you'll come home and you'll binge eat, or you'll do something like I said, just eat a bunch of unhealthy snacks. And then the next thing you know, you're gaining weight when really your goal was to get healthy, right? So it's like, whatever you're doing, it's not giving you really what it is you want. Because here we have clarifying the 10 of Elixirs, or the 10 of Cups. We have the 7 of Pentacles, the 6 of Cups, the Tower, the 6 of Pentacles, the Hierophant, and the 2 of Swords. So see, this is what I was talking about. Here with that, that's your main energy, is you're trying to get it in the upright, because you're realizing you're putting more into one thing and not something else. Like you're instead of putting it into, say, like I said, if it's like a health goal, right? You want to exercise probably so much amount of time, you want to do certain things, so you're going to have to learn to work through that, right? Sorry. What is it that you're investing? What is it that is your goal? Because for some of you guys, you could just be fixated on past goals or past things that has happened that has caused you to be in that cycle. So you're not balancing out exactly what it is that you want. And it's because of some kind of commitment that you probably have made in the past, or there's some kind of commitment that you want to make, but it's having to come down to that decision to really do it. It's like maybe you're talking about it with people, but you're not really achieving that goal, right? It's like you're talking to people around you wanting to achieve a specific goal or a specific dream, but you yourself are not achieving it. You yourself are not going out and making that a possibility. I'm sorry, I'm just like losing my voice. All right. So we have here the 7 of Cups, the 4 of Cups, and the Ace of Wands here for the Ace of Rods or the Ace of Wands. So what I'm having to say here too is there's a lot of options that my Capricorns are facing. For some of you guys, there can be more than one avenue to achieving a specific goal, and it might be overwhelming for you. But it's almost like there's one in particular that you are afraid that, or you don't want, that you're dismissing. It's like you're dismissing one of these cups, like you're dumping it out because there's something that you don't think is worth either the work or the effort, or it just doesn't look valuable. But that's actually what's ultimately going to re-spark you and reignite you. So you might feel like, perhaps, say for instance, looking at all these decisions, you might think, okay, no, this one looks like it might be a harder road to go down. But that's actually what's going to bring you the most fulfillment. It's like there's just something that you're right about to write off, Capricorn, but it's almost like this card is urging me to tell you to like reevaluate it before and completely dismissing it, because it's going to unlock some kind of passion that you have. It's going to be something there that's going to help you. But yeah, it's all within actually needing to find that within yourself. And it's by going, like, it's by whatever decision you're thinking you want to make might not be necessarily the right decision for you. And so you're needing to have to look at that. If that makes sense. Because it really feels like there's something there that you're missing, and it's because you're already writing it off for what you think it really is. So there's a piece of you though that feels very much so like you, on the outside, everybody will perceive you as probably more together, a lot smarter, a lot knowing, but deep down inside you're in pain. It almost feels like you can sometimes put on a facade, Capricorn, to those around you, that you're doing fine, that you're doing great, that you're doing the successful things that you want to do. But really, in reality, what's happening is a lot of people might think you're independent. A lot of people might think you know where you're going. And you might lead on like that. But what's happening for my Capricorns, especially in the month of July, you're going to be kind of feeling a little unsure of yourself, a little unsteady, not sure where to go, afraid to make the wrong judgment calls, and kind of afraid to make the wrong moves, because you want to make sure that you're doing things right, and you want to communicate things. You want to be able to get your point across to people and not have conflict or drama. For some of you guys, this could be just balancing out a relationship between you and a loved one, and it's really hard for you to have to temper yourself down to being able to communicate with this person. It feels like for some of my Capricorns, you might even view the world as a little bit unfair and a little bit unjust, thinking that life, you feel like you have to work hard for life. You feel like you have to make a lot of sacrifices in order to achieve the things you want. And because of that, that's what's causing you pain and suffering, because you think that you have to give up something you care about in order to gain something else. And then you worry about if it's going to be worth it or not. And that's where some of you guys are really at. And it feels like kind of like a juggling act between yourself, right? And honestly, it's because you're afraid of making the wrong decision. You're afraid of dropping the ball. You're afraid that you're not going to gain that emotional fulfillment that you were hoping for that whole time, which was the reason why you were doing this. was because you wanted to gain emotional fulfillment in a situation or in a goal or a circumstance. Like there's just something deep inside yourself that you just want to like it's great to feel good, right? It's great to feel peaceful, especially when it comes to your emotions. And for this month's Capricorn, you have a lot of emotions. And it's going to take some time to transition. It's going to take some time for you to really see and develop what it is that you really want. And what's blocking you is from really achieving that is being afraid of putting your guard down, kind of being afraid of being vulnerable. You guys might have a hard time really expressing yourselves around others because you like to do that in maybe a private setting. And it almost seems like this month it might make you to where you have to get out of your comfort zone a little bit, Capricorn, because that's kind of what it feels like. So a lot of you guys have hope that what's going to happen will, whatever you're trying to work out or trying to balance in your life, you're hoping that it will work out. You're hoping that it will be something worth of value. Because for some of my Capricorns, it's just like wanting to have that emotional fulfillment, wanting to feel fulfilled, and also just wanting to belong, wanting to know that there's somewhere, like there's some place that you belong, that there's somewhere that you feel comfortable being. And that's where I think some of you guys are transitioning. That's where I think a lot of that 10 of Cups is coming from, that emotional fulfillment. And it's like hope of doing whatever it is that you are trying to achieve, Capricorn, because it's going to be different for everyone. It's like whatever you're trying to achieve or whatever you're trying to balance out in your life, again, whether that's a relationship, work, health, anything like that, you have the hope that it will work itself out, because deep down inside you want to feel like you have a purpose, that you belong somewhere, that you are loved, that there's a place for you to always go to. It's like some of my Capricorns are trying to find inner peace and sanctuary of this time. So that's what I have for my Capricorns. I hope that this has resonated for you guys. Just know that as long as you stay true to yourself, you will always find peace. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much. Bye.